Fantasy Source Baseball podcast. My name is David A. Arnott, sitting here with Bill Bender. Last Tuesday, we talked about buy low candidates and guys that you should target as even though they're struggling to begin the year. Today, we're going to be talking about sell high candidates. In other words, guys who are doing exceptionally well to start out the season, and you might be able to convince someone, you know what, this is a real trend, even though you have your reasons for thinking that it's not a real trend.
Right, and sell high is kind of subjective. It goes with the owner. What does it really mean? Does it mean you have to get rid of him? Do you have to trade him? It doesn't necessarily mean that, but it's something, when you see a guy that's overperforming, you're not going to fool every owner in the league, but there might be one or two guys in that league that hasn't been paying as much attention that you can fool.
So let's talk about a guy with some reasonable name recognition on the pitcher's mound. Is a guy who used to be with the Boston Red Sox, had a pretty good prospect shine to him a few years ago, but hasn't exactly lit the world on fire until right now, and that's Justin Masterson.
Yeah, it's hard to believe he's one of two pitchers in the league that is 5-0 or better. Obviously, Jared Weaver's the other one. He's getting guys out. He's got a high ground ball percentage, top 10 in the majors. He's not striking out as many people as as owners would like, but on the flip side, he is pitching well for Cleveland. The Indians look like they can contend in the AL Central, believe it or not, and he's a guy that... Is he a sell high guy to me? Not really, because I would ride it out and see what else you can get out of him. And there's also the possibility that he might end up in a Red Sox uniform again.
Would you say that he's the type of guy that you would try to take advantage of another owner who thinks it's a sell high opportunity and is just trying to get rid of him, like trying to get full value for him?
Yeah, he's a guy you might be able to get, and that's what we mean by sell high. Like, he might be an owner, another owner selling high. You can get him under the radar a little bit if you're smart about it, and he's just a guy that I think is going to be successful as long as he keeps the ball down and keeps that ground ball percentage up. That's the one number I'd look at him moving forward.
Now, on the flip side of that, another guy that you would say get rid of if you can and try to get real value for, Aaron Harang.
Yeah, I like what he's done so far in San Diego. Let's be honest, the Padres aren't hitting the ball, and it's going to be tough for any pitcher to get a win, considering Matt Latos can't get any run support. So what you've got out of Aaron Harang so far, 4-1, looking good, getting 5.1 runs of run support. That was a bit of a tongue twister. But he's a guy that you've got the best out of him, and you might be able to dump him off on an unsuspecting owner.
As we always say, you don't have to give those stats back. You've already gotten them. Now let's concentrate on what's most likely to happen moving forward. If anybody thinks the Padres are going to give any pitcher 5.1 runs of run support moving forward, you're crazy. It's Petco Park.
Right, and they're hitting less than 200 at home right now, and there's just one pitcher after another is coming in and locking them down. And for him to get 5-point runs, there it is again, he might as well be getting 15 with that Padres lineup right now. But, he, like I said, he's a guy that you might want to pawn off. And if there was a Harang for Masterson type deal out there, you're not going to find that deal. Mm-hmm. But if there was, I would definitely take Masterson moving forward and maybe give away Harang.
Looking at some hitters now, Sam Fuld is a guy who, with Manny Ramirez's retirement, has gotten a lot of playing opportunity. He was already getting a little bit, but now he's pretty much entrenched as a starter in the Tampa Bay Rays outfield. He's hitting, 350 at this point? He has over 10 steals already. How do you see him performing moving forward?
He's doing great, but you can't expect him to hit 350 all season. He'll steal bases, but there's not a lot of power there. He's kind of like the NL version of him right now is a middle infielder, Darwin Barney, and we all love his name. Kind of the same deal. Hitting well, stealing some bases, but not much on the way of power. And with guys like that, it's hard to maintain that value because they have to hit so high and they have to steal a bunch of bases, and there's no guarantee both of those guys will do that all season. So those are two guys that I might take a look at. Yeah, they're everyday players, but I might be willing to deal them.
Now, even though Fuld isn't going to be hitting 350 moving forward, do you think that there is value, though, in assessing him as a player who, while he's not going to hit 350, might actually be a valuable player moving forward? Say, if he hits 290 with 10 home runs the rest of the way and gets another 20 steals, I mean, for 5 months of production, you can't really do much better than that on the waiver wire.
Absolutely, and he's the guy that I just don't think he might not be an everyday player in fantasy leagues, but he can be, at the very least, be a bench player, a guy you can use, and when he's hot like he is now, you can plug him in the lineup. And the same with Barney, because he's a middle infielder with dual eligibility. That does help, but at the same time, if you're counting on these guys every day for the rest of the season, you're going to run into a problem.
Another guy that was a popular flyer pick, if I recall correctly, Houston Astros, Brett Wallace. In some leagues, he may have third base eligibility. He's playing a lot of first base. How do you see him moving forward? And give us a little bit of an idea of why you think he might be sell high or why you might want to hold on to him.
Well, he's a guy that it's sell high from the standpoint, if I'm trading Brett Wallace right now, I'm going to get a lot in return. Because Brett Wallace is a guy that we've been talking about for years. We know his prospect values. He's been traded here and there. And, he's hitting 367, but the power numbers aren't necessarily there right now. And he still strikes out a lot, and he still plays for Houston. So all those things, you put them all together, I think with the name recognition factor there, he's a guy that if I have him and somebody offers me maybe a big-name third baseman and something else, and I can put him in a package deal, I might be able to pull that off.
So essentially you're okay with packaging him for someone else because, again, as far as fantasy is concerned, he's just a name. His production is the only thing that matters, and you try to take advantage of that name recognition. Oh yeah, he's the guy who's a really big prospect.
Right, and if it's not maybe in a keeper league, I might hold on to him because he is young and we see the potential. But in a standard redraft league, he's a guy that that's the type of guy that stands out as maybe a sell high guy.
Anyone else you've been looking at as far as the hitters that you might say, you know what, I think I'd let him go?
Not really with the hitters. I like what Placido Polanco's doing right now, actually. He's hitting a lot higher, and he's going to score runs for Philadelphia. There's a guy if you take Darwin Barney and you traded him for Placido Polanco, I would take Polanco in that deal. And then another guy that I like right now is Travis Hafner. But the word of caution is there. He's only hit 34 homers the past 3 seasons. He's hitting the ball well. Total. That's not in 1 year. Yeah, that's in 3 years. So, and he has 4 this season. He's playing well. You got to give him credit for what he's doing at home. But it's just a concern moving forward because you always wonder with him, when's the other shoe going to drop?
And of course, he's only qualifying at U also, the utility positions, or DH if you have that in your league.
Exactly. So he's another guy that, you might want to float him out there and see what you get in return.
All right, Bill, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.